Happy Halloween, everybody. Got a little skull buddy here. Hey, listen, I just want to thank all the fans and everybody that supported us throughout all these endeavors trying to hit 300 miles an hour. You guys have been awesome, and I really appreciate it. A lot of guys are asking me, how did the 292 run go, and what was it like, and what happened, and the video's out now. You can watch it. You probably have seen it at this point. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So the first thing a lot of people ask me is, what's it like going 290 plus miles an hour? And it's no different than going 283 miles an hour. You're hauling butt. It's difficult to really describe what's going on. I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of have a feel for it. But I will say the BADDGT handles so well and drives so good up top, because we have spent a lot of time setting this car up with its aero and the suspension, that it's like driving a Honda minivan to the grocery store. I'm extremely happy with how the car handled. And we were out running the car. We were doing some testing on some new equipment, and we weren't sure if we were going to go 300. We wanted to go 300, but at this particular testing venue, we did not hit 300. We hit 292. But it was a good, extremely valuable testing session for us. A lot of guys have also asked me, a lot of other stuff they've asked me is, what's it like inside the car? As you can see in the video, the car's pretty decent. I had to kind of granny shift the car on this run. We did not go into a real high boost level because we were still getting ready for this next big run that we're going to do, hopefully in December. And, when you're trying to do something at this level, if you get in a hurry or if you push things prematurely, you end up having a lot of problems. And a lot of people came out to support me on this, and I didn't want to let them down. Richard Rollins came out with the entire Gas Monkey crew, and they filmed this whole thing. They really enjoyed it. They could not believe the vast expanse of the runway that we're using. Johnny Bohmer Proving Grounds at Space Florida's Spaceport is the best piece of concrete in the world, period. 100 yards wide, 3 miles long. It's an incredible place to test. The traction's really good there. So we're really happy. Richard Rollins is a blast. The dude is, he's bigger than life. All I can say is that when you see him on TV, he's wilder in real life than he is on TV.
Quitting time. I'm just getting started. Oh yeah.
Super nice guy. His crew was super nice. Everything about their whole operation was top notch. He's been very supportive. Took him for a ride after I did the run. We went out and we came back after the 292. They all came down. We looked at all the different data to figure out what the mile an hour was and make sure cross-reference everything timed up correctly. And it was all good. Richard went for a ride in the BADDGT, and I went up through around 4th into 5th gear, and he was really impressed with how fast the car is. I think extremely impressed. And what's nice about this is the car's in one piece. Everything's good. We brought it back. Of course, we're making a bunch of little adjustments, getting ready for the next testing session, which should be a really big number. I think that 300 is the big number, obviously, that I've been after for a long time. But after driving the car in this last run, I don't see any problem hitting 310 or 315. The car's got it in it. It's extremely, the car's ready, the BADDGT is ready to go. In the video, you're going to see some pretty crazy stuff towards the end. One of them is the parachute breaking. Yeah, 292 is pretty fast, but what was interesting is when I went to deploy the parachute, I felt a very slight tug when I deployed the parachute, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm looking in the rearview mirror looking for the chute, because you can usually see it wiggling around in the back window. I've pulled that chute out quite a bit. Well, apparently I've used the chute just one too many times, and it failed. This is the actual lanyards off the parachute. All 4 of them broke. Apparently my car, being around 4,300 pounds, is just too heavy for this parachute type system. Even though it worked a lot in the past, it probably was fatigued, and it failed. We're getting a brand new parachute made that's going to have double the lanyard strength, same style parachute, which will eliminate this problem. It was an interesting problem because when the chute failed, once I realized it did not deploy, I didn't realize it flew off the back of the car. I didn't know what happened, but I knew I didn't have a parachute. So I had to slow the car down. Luckily, the day before, we decided to change the front rotors. Changed the front rotors, then we put new pads on it, and I noticed a little vibrations while we did all this. So luckily I had done that because I had to stand on those brakes, and it took us a long way to stop. I smoked all of the rotors. I ruined the brake pads. The rotors are completely blue. The front rotors are warped so bad they're ruined. I probably could turn it out, but I'm just going to get new ones. They're ruined. And they were basically almost on fire. Matter of fact, I thought the car was on fire.
Stop, drop, and roll! You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby! I'm on fire!
When I stopped and I got out and smoke was coming out of the rotors, these aren't carbon fiber brakes like some of the high-dollar race cars. These are steel brakes. So they shouldn't get that hot. And we were actually going to run the car again. I took Richard Rollins for a ride. We took it up to, like I said, about 200. But prior to that, we looked at the rotors, and the rear rotors actually had 1-inch cracks in them. So we ruined all the brakes on the car, but guess what? They stopped the car. And that was a big deal. Stopping's important. It's kind of like flying an airplane. They're easy to fly. It's the landing part that you got to worry about. But when you're going fast in a car, it's easy to go fast. It's that stopping part that's important. How do you stop? You know, so the other thing that we'd like to talk about is you know, what's happening? What are we changing for the BADDGT to go 300? Well, we've got some issues with a couple of the cooling items on the car that we want to modify slightly. We're going to play around with a little bit more gearing stuff and some different tire configurations, but we're basically dialed in. We're actually ready to probably go back out very soon. But because the way we're going to do the filming, the next time Richard comes out, it's probably going to be middle of December. And we're going to get the car ready. We're actually going to go to a car show this weekend, I believe, Cars and Coffee down in West Palm Beach, Florida. But you know, we're going to drive the car around. I'll drive it for the next few weeks, but everything in the car is good. Did a compression check. Everything's excellent. We're very happy with how the car ran. And other than having the parachute fail, it was a very successful testing day. Well, listen, everybody, please follow our Instagram and Facebook and all our social media outlets. We really appreciate everything you're doing. You're going to see some cool stuff coming up. We're going to start dripping in some cool snippets of the run. Of course, we do have the video out that shows the 292. So I just want to let you know that you guys have a wonderful Halloween. I don't know if you heard that banging over there, but we do have a ghost in the garage, and it might have something to do with this skull. I'm not sure. But, but anyway, you guys have a wonderful Halloween, and we'll talk to you soon, and keep your eyes on the BADDGT.